Right. All right. Let's get this party started. You know what's amazing is so nice to see so nice to see old friends and new. It really, it's just a beautiful thing. You all can hear me. Yes? We're good? Okay. All right. We're going to get moving because girlfriends, it's time to feel good. Right? It is time to shift you into the zone, the place where I seem to occupy. And so as I get started here, type in the chat, if you would, what gets in the way of you living in that high frequency place, in that I am on fire place. If just, let me do a little back and forth here as a good generator. I want to respond to what's in the room. So just type as I start to chit chat. What is it that keeps you from feeling good all the time? Like I'm talking all the time. And that's not to say that falling back into old stories and conditioning, obligations, commitments, priorities, shiny object. Thank you. Yes, Lynn, I'm also that. That 3 line will get you every time. That's not to say, yep, worries about money, that we don't have tough times, we don't have tough emotions, we don't have things that happen in our lives that don't feel good. But the goal is to live in that high vibe place as much as we possibly can, and to have tools to shift us out of anything that's not in that zone. So in the 30 minutes that we have today, my goal, my vision is to chit chat a little bit about it. And then ideally you'll leave and something will have shifted. You've popped an octave or a half an octave or a quarter octave. I don't care how far you pop. I just want you popping. We want you popping because when you're empowered and you're feeling good, it's like the pebble in the pond. There is no limit to the effect that you can have. And as you know, when you're in that space, all your good just comes to you. It just shows up. It just shows up. And then the real challenge begins, which is, oh, what do I say yes to? What do I say no to? Because there's just so much stuff in my field that I've pulled in that I might need to filter a little bit. I'll tell you a funny story about that maybe at the end. About Linda, here you go again. But that high vibe state, let's talk about it. Let's get into it. First, get into your bodies, because a high vibe state is not in the head. Yeah, thanks, Jackie. Too much research. It's not in the head. It's a full body experience. And the beauty is that right now, the transition that we're going through as a collective is from the mind to the body. Some of you have been very body-based. Gottlieb is a body expert. So this is familiar territory. But for most of us, we've been raised to live from the neck up. We've been raised to think and to figure things out, which is helpful when it's in the passenger seat, not helpful when it's in the driver's seat. So what we want is to connect the mind with the body. Most of you know I've been going through yoga training, yoga teacher training this year. Sadly, it just ended. And it's been such a reminder that the wisdom is locked in the body. Those of you who know your human designs or your gene keys, you know that the wisdom is in the genes, it's in the bodies. What we want to do now is activate it so that it is in the lead. And you can't activate it, you can't let it be in the lead unless you're in touch with your body, and you can't be in that high frequency zone unless you feel it. It's not something that you think your way through. We can think happy thoughts. We can catch our thoughts when they're going down dark and scary alleyways that we don't want them to go through, but it's not a zone that lives in the mind. It's a zone that's connected all through. So just for right now, so we might be able to tap into it and then kind of collectively feel the energy. This is a great size group. It's so great. I love this. I no longer have to say 15 people or less because it just happens, which is great. That's my sweet spot zone, by the way, in my design. You all have a sweet spot zone of how many people you're meant to work with at a time. You don't know yours, ping me and we'll talk about it. But I want you to get into your bodies right now. So close your eyes, shut down, and just put those feet on the floor. And I want you feeling and breathing. The best way to connect to your body is through the breath, for sure. So breathe in, take some, and deep in the belly. When we stay in the chest, it stays up in the head. It doesn't get down into the loins. Ladies, I'm talking down into the loins. I don't think we have any men today, so we can really cut loose. We're talking down in the loins in that first, second chakra. But put your feet on the ground and breathe as though there's air coming up through the ground, in through your legs. Most of you are probably sitting, excuse me, or you can stand for this. You can turn your thing off and just start dancing if you want. That's one of the best ways to get the energy moving, and pull it up through your, what we call the chakras. And if you don't know what the chakras are, it doesn't matter. Just pull it up through the body. Feel that breath, feel that energy, that kundalini, that chi, which is always available to us when we remember to access it and to pull it in. So pull it in, pull it up, feel it come through. And if your mind is going, huh, thank it for sharing, and stay with me, and pull it up into the heart, and pull it up into the throat and into the third eye, we say, and pull it up to the top of the head, and then let it go back down, and keep pulling up these lines of energy, breathing in, so that as we're talking and as we're connecting, your body is hearing what I'm saying. My words are actually irrelevant. It's a feeling, tone, and an energetic transmission. I'm going to talk about the experiment we're doing next month, which many of you want in on. It's an energetic transmission. This is the era of, it sounds dumb, the era of energy. We've known that forever. We've known that in our heads, but truly, miraculously, this is how stuff is happening. And it's happening so quickly now. So you want to catch the vibe. You want to pop into that zone. So what keeps us from getting in that zone, you just listed. I got to work on something else. I have too much going on. I've got money worries. There's bills to pay, blah, 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 blah. And those of you who have been on this with me before know that I don't get out of bed now. Just run the experiment. I do not get out of bed unless I feel good. I do not. Why would you get out of bed if you don't feel good? So we want to make sure you start your day in that zone. And the way you can get there is up to you. You can run your energy, you can do breathing, you can say prayers, you can stretch, you can watch something funny on, YouTube, funny cat videos, funny, those are never missing. Whatever it is you need to do to get in that zone to start your day, because if it's all energy, then what you project right after waking up is what you're going to call in for the day. And as the day wears on, if you slip, which we do, stuff happens, or if you have a task you're not really wanting to do, tax preparation, paying bills seems to be a thing for a lot of people, then you get in the zone first. You get into that good feeling place first. And then you do the task, and then you watch yourself. See, this is all about self-monitoring and thinking about what you're thinking about and knowing how you're feeling. If you don't have a connection to your body, that's hard to do. So a whole side note on this is get in touch with your body, move it, stretch it, push it, live it, enjoy it. And that's a little side tangent there. The point is, if you don't have a connection to your body, then you don't know how you feel. If you've been through a lot of trauma, you don't want to feel. I get that. So you want to gently and lovingly handle those and enter that area. And here's the thing about emotions and unpleasant feelings. You're not going to pitch a tent there. That's not what I'm suggesting. It's like, go feel your feelings and the shadows that we talk about in the work that we do with Gene Keys and things like that. It's all because those are doorways to what lies beyond. Those are just signposts. If there's a little something for you to play with, to deal with, to transmute, to get to the other side, because on the other side is this like freaking Autobahn highway of good and powerful and magic and miracles. And so we want to dissolve, transmute anything that's in the way. So again, you start out by feeling good first thing. Type in the chat here, if you would, what are your ways that you manage the madness in the mind? Just pop in the chat ways that you shush, 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 like not allowed. There is no seat at the table for the mind to spout its junk. Meditate. Thank you. That's a good one. Breathing and meditation, connecting to something higher than yourself. I always say to people, when I talk to them one-on-one, they generally feel better after they talk to me, because I say to them, talk to the hand. because I just don't buy what you think about yourself. I just don't believe it. Like, no, thank you. Like, you can tell me all the reasons why, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, talk to the hand, because that's not who I know you to be. I know you to be this divine, perfect, whole, complete human in a spiritual being in this human body for a temporary amount of time. And I know there's nothing wrong or broken or needs fixing about you, and all the stories and identities and all of the dirt and grime of life that has accumulated on your back over time. Thank you for sharing. That is not who you are. So what I implore you to do is see yourself the way I see you. See yourself as this unstoppable divine goddess. Like, whew, like you got this, like watch out world. Like she's high priestess. She's incredible businesswoman. She is, I am woman, hear me roar. She is soft. She is powerful. She is yielding. She is ambitious. Like you are all of those things at once. To be woman, to be empowered, to be embodied, to be tuned in and turned on. Girlfriend, you are absolutely unstoppable. But we got to get rid of the clutter that gets in the way. So Deb says she moves around, she walks outside. Thank you. Yes, moving the body. When you're stuck and you're not feeling good, move that body, move that energy. It's obviously coagulating somewhere. And if it's not in the mind, sometimes it's in an achy part in the body. I'll tell you my story in a minute about my own journey on all of this and what I manifest in my body when I'm not practicing what I'm preaching. Betty says she recites a memorized mindless list. Can you type in a little bit more what that means, Betty? Maybe that's just to neutralize whatever is kicked up for you. So again, let's take a breath, because I get a little
say it again. It's easier to explain than to.
Yeah, go ahead. Say more.
Okay, a number of years ago, I had New Year's resolution to read the Bible all the way through. Along the way, I memorized the books of the Bible, just the names. Another time, a friend and I were trying to come up with the names of all 50 states. And I eventually memorized them all in order. And so just going through that in my head and saying those things takes my mind off the clutter that is bothering me.
Oh, I love that. Okay, good. It's like it's like the toddler that you have to redirect, like, no, don't touch the stove. Have this piece, have the lollipop. It's just, we just literally have to keep the mind distracted. And recognize that you are not your mind, that you are not your emotions, that you're not the details, you're not this body. You're not even, well, I'll stop. You're not really even a spiritual being in a human body. You're actually even bigger than that. You're not consciousness. Consciousness is still, you are just pure awareness. You are pure source power. You are pure being. And so anything that limits that and puts you in a box is just not fair. It's just not right. It's like, that's why we get so frustrated, is because we're like in these straitjackets when what you want is freedom and liberation. So, yes, thank you. 5D, not 3D. So you see that around a lot. You see 7D. What does all that mean? It just means that this world that we have been functioning inside of is dissolving in the most glorious, quickening, exciting way. And everything that we've come to rely on is deconstructing and being reconstructed. And while that can be a little unsettling for those of you who know deep down something better is being birthed, it's okay. You're going to ride the storm. You're going to be fine. The new paradigms are here to support you. You wouldn't be on this call unless you knew years ago, decades ago, that there was something off in the world. And like, you're supposed to play by these rules, but they don't. And so you do, but they don't really feel all that aligned, whether it's the money system or the education system or how you're supposed to take care of your healthcare, whatever it is. You just sort of knew that, all right, that's what I'm told to do. Doesn't quite feel aligned. Hallelujah. Praise the heavens that this is the era we're now living in, because those are going away. And it is very simple. It is very simple. You just need to ride those waves, because there's more coming. We're in a little bit of a lull in the States right now, because we've had the transition of power, and the COVID seems to be, subsiding some. So we're in a little bit of a nice lull. And I'm here to tell you the change is not done, and you know that. So to keep your vessel strong, question for you: what do you need to let go of? Like right now, like between now and 15 minutes when we're done, could you let go of that one thing that's holding you back? Now, it could be a habit you have that you know is not serving you, whether it's a physical one, like what you're eating or not moving your body, or conversations you're engaging in that you know are not of the highest caliber, all of which I'm guilty of doing. Or is it a belief about yourself? Is it a limitation you put on yourself, whether it's a physical one or an opportunity one, or an excuse that, well, this is not the right time? Like, what is it that's jailing you? What's got you in prison? And sometimes it's as easy as making a choice, like right now, right now, right now, to let it go, that you don't have to be imprisoned by it anymore. So if anybody wants to share what they, thank you, I can't. Yeah, Patty Smith, I can't. Really? That's in your vernacular? Where are you? I can't believe you. There you are, I see you. But that's honest, right? I can't. Creativity overload. Sometimes the circuits are getting too overloaded. And God, believe that in your design, there are ways to calm that down, to bring that down, to settle yourself. There you are. And because in design, she's got this openness to inspiration. And so, yeah, sometimes there's just too much going on. So you have a way to ground yourself in the body. I know you do. And so your answer's through the body. So Barbara, your work and your job is holding you back. And I know you've said this for a while. And so sometimes there are life situations that do feel like they restrict us or constrict us. And sometimes the way out of that isn't clear. So we have to sort of deal with what's there. And so Barbara, I know you know more than a lot of us, shifting your perspective on that. If you're going to see it as a prison, it's going to remain a prison, because it is true. As you think, so shall you be. What you think about, you do bring about. That is still true in the thought processes. The high frequency zone is when your thoughts, your emotions, and your line of energy is all lined up and everything is feeling simple, easy, and fun. So wherever there's a kink in the hose, we want to unkink that, as you know. So Barbara, for you, your work is a prison. And I know I'm overstating it, but right now your work is jumping in there. And so here's one of the greatest things: get curious. Just get curious. When we get tied up and we get a kink and we start thinking too much and we don't feel, just get curious. What is wanting to happen to me and through me right now? What is this trying to teach me right now? How can I lighten up about this? What can I do in this moment that feels good? Get your Spotify dance tunes going, get your speaker going, get up and dance and move, call a friend, have fun. So for me right now, okay, here's some disclosure, and kink your hose. I decided that I was going to dip my toe into the online dating world. Oh, God help me. And I did this once before, a couple months ago. I was like, oh, I'm so not ready. Most of you know, I just got out of a 5-year, very interesting, intense relationship. And so I'm just, trying to play, and dipped my toe in a couple months ago, like not ready. Dipped my toe in again this weekend. And then just today made a decision, not ready. Like fun and kind of titillating and, gets that little girl spark going, and activates all the old patterns and a lot of the traumas that aren't quite ready to be out on full display. And so so my question was, what can you let go of? So I'm going to retreat from that because it's not quite the right time. And I want to preserve, and I want you to preserve that gold frequency that's running through your loins, that chi, that kundalini, that spark that is always there. And if we waste it, then we waste it. And if we treat it like the young sprout and the like the source for your nourishment and your food and the source of all things that are going to come to you, if you treat it, which means treat yourself like that and don't give it away like I'm very good at doing, then you'll get further faster. Not that this is a race, not that there's anywhere to get to, but I know that you all have these dreams and these hits of what you're here to do. And so let's guard. You're like a little seedling. You're like a little sprout that's come up through the concrete, right? Like this force is so strong. And the sprout is coming through concrete, and we don't want to step on it. We don't want to pull it. We want to kind of like, we want to like peck away at the concrete that's around it and give it some space and give it some water and give it some air and some sunshine and let it just do its thing. You don't have to do anything. This is not the era of doing. This is the era of being. What's really fantastic, and I don't know everybody's design on here off the bat, but anybody who's a projector, it's really starting to happen for you. 30, 40 years ago, the founder of human design said that this era was made for the world would eventually come to appreciate projectors. I'll say more about that for those who don't know what I'm talking about. And what's so cool is I'm watching the projectors in my sphere, and it's really starting to kick in. So what does that mean for those of us who aren't projectors and for those of us who don't know what I'm talking about? The way of the projector is to do less. They can't be busy without burning themselves out. So watching projectors start to succeed right now is a confirmation that it's time to be and not do. That most of your work needs to be, not most, but most of the work on your to-do list needs to be put to the side until you've done equal amounts of inner alignment, getting into that high frequency zone. And then your to-do list will just sort of get done or not. It won't really matter, but you'll be in such a high vibe state that you'll just start pulling in the things that are right for you. So let's see. Any questions as I catch my breath and you catch yours? And just keep breathing into your body and ask yourself, where are you blocked? What's keeping you? And maybe I'll take one or two and see if we can unkink you before we're done here. But how do you know you're in the high, like, or how do you get, let me ask this, how do you get in that zone yourselves? Because, you hear me talk about dancing, and we talk about meditating. We talk about getting rid of the junk that's in the head and in the heart and in the system. But are there any other creative ways that you use to get into the zone? So I'm heading to the beach, as you know, tomorrow. So nature is always good, as we know. I want you to reprogram. I want you to just know in your bones that you got this, that this is your time. Gratitude and love. Thank you, Sandy. Yep. Gratitude is one of the most healing energies that there is. And get support. Like if any of you, dealing with tough stuff, things you just can't get over, you keep attracting the same thing, different name, different place, but the same situation. And so those are karmic or this lifetime experiences that are here to teach you something. So let's get you support so you can learn it and move forward. Because this is your time to shine. This is your time to thrive. Thank you, Patty. Deep connection through prayer, gratitude, and meditation. And I would also like to say through sisterhood, brotherhood, through connection, through intimacy, through having conversations with people who are on your wavelength, not buying into most of the talk that's out there. I actually don't know what most of the talk that's out there is because I don't do it. I have a very highly curated circle that I communicate with. And I'm also very happy with alone time, so that helps. Yes, Deb Gren, complete silence, which I hope you're able to find a corner of your world to do that. Take a shower, water, laughter, right? The best medicine. Laughter is the best medicine. Okay, so let's take a few more deep breaths and let's kind of send you off in a certain direction here. So again, connecting to the body. I have to remind myself, you can tell I kind of spin off into my little preacher girl, and I need to just ground myself in my body. So right now, ground yourself, put your feet back on that ground, breathe through the feet into the alignment through the body, up through all the chakras and out. Just take a few deep breaths. And I'd like you to feel what it feels like when you have fill in the blank, whatever that is for you. I want this, I want that, I see this, I'm craving that, I want to manifest this, whatever that is for you. How will you feel in your body when that happens? So for me, I have a vision of building this community, a virtual community, and I know how it buzzes and integrates and crosses over with everybody's synapses and whatnot. And I can just feel in my loins the electric charge that will be creating in myself and in the world. And it will be like a feeling of arrival for me, like, finally, like everything I've been doing up to this point. Finally, it's not the end point, but finally I'll be in that zone where the community is built. And like, I can feel, can you feel it when I talk? Like, whoa, yes, sister, like I got that. And I get antsy because it was supposed to happen last year and the year before, whatever. I stay in that zone of knowing, yep, like I know it. Don't ask me how. I have some idea. How is such a doing question. It is not worthy of your consideration right now. And as a former recovering business coach, I know how nuts that sounds, but how is not the right question right now. It's what is it and how does it feel? What is it and how does it feel? And see, does anybody here have a block, a kink in the hose to either what it is or how it feels? Or can you all, I don't know if you can raise your hands on this Zoom. I don't think you can, and it's just the webinar. But can you feel it? Does anybody have a kink? Type in the chat if you're having a kink, or type in the chat if you're actually feeling it. Or is everybody just feeling so they're not typing? Okay, good. Thank you, Sandy. Sandy's somebody who is very in tune, has spent a lot of time being in tune with the energetic side of life. So great, Lynn. So is Lynn. Yes, trust and joy and acceleration and laughter and possibility and opportunity. Ladies, gentlemen, those are your proper spots to live within. And anything that is not that is false. It's false. It's something you picked up along the way. It's a habit that's really hard to kill. It's some belief system that no longer serves you. So you got to do your bless and release and your untethering, because this zone is you. It is right. It is the light. It is where the world needs you to live. And Barbara, I know you're struggling with your job. And again, until you are feeling like that's a wise move, because we follow our hearts and check in with our heads. It's not that our minds are completely useless. It's that we want it in the proper place. It's in the passenger seat, not the driver's seat all the time. So as Steve Jobs once said, lead with your heart, but check in with your head. So Barbara, I would just say, see this inflection point as a gift somehow. And when you can uncover what it's trying to teach you, then perhaps the next horizon will unfold more easily for you. And thank you, Margaret, for reminding us all that this is all about allowing and surrender and allowing and surrender. And maybe I'll close this up by sharing with you again. Some of you were on the call earlier this month, and some of you weren't, that my experiment for February was the surrender experiment, which perhaps you read in the email. I said, you know, what if I actually really like 1,000% lived what I believe just for the month of February, because it's a short month. It's a short month. So if it fails, it's fine. It's only 28 days. And what if I got up, and I only got up when I felt good. And when I got up, I only did what felt good. Now, I'm not saying ignore your responsibilities. It doesn't happen. None of us are going to ignore our responsibilities. Our to-do lists are going to get done. But what if we flipped it on its head, and instead of the to-do list guiding everything I do, it's my feelings and my feeling state. So I only get up when I feel good. When I get up, I do what feels good. And then I go from there. And I have all my lists and I know what I want to accomplish. Well, here we are 20, whatever days, 24 days into the month, 24 days into the month. And as you know, or may know, I've booked more income this month than the last 2 months combined. I had a lot of fun with an old friend, which was really fun and like out of the blue. Like, oh, okay, he's back in my life. Well, that's all right. Thank you. And I had some fun with some other friends. And tomorrow I leave to go to this beach house that my brother basically pushed me to take him up on. My brother owns these investment properties on Outer Banks of North Carolina. And he kept nudging. And in February, I was like, why am I not saying yes? He owns 2 houses and they're empty in February and March. So, okay. So, and I said, all right, how about this week? And he said, how about 2 weeks? I'm like, oh, how about it? So that is all just to share with you that I practice what I preach, and I would never tell you to do anything that I haven't kicked the tires on a little bit. So between now and the next time I hold one of these, whether you attend or not, my challenge to you is let it go. Let it go. Whatever's holding you from that joy zone, just put it in a basket, because it will be there next time you want to worry. It's going to be right there. And get into that high frequency zone, and then move your life forward from that place, or do what you need to do from that place. Never do anything unless you feel good. We have to do things we don't really want to do, like pay taxes, but don't do them unless you're in a good feeling place. So I have an invitation for you all, and we can stay after and kind of chit chat and unmute if you want. But I have Patty, you're gonna have to tell us what that is. I have an invitation for you all. Next month, probably in a week or 2 weeks, we're going to do an experiment called the Miracle Zone experiment. Some of you know about this, where I and my trusty deputy in my business, we want to run an experiment where you tell us what you're either struggling with or what you're desiring. And we only communicate through, it's not only, but you don't have to show up for anything. There's no Zoom meetings. There's no set time and place. We are energetically going to hold you in that container. And we want you to check in with us through email, through hopefully a easy fill outable form, how it's going. And your job, and not just telling us what you need, is to stay in the zone. And then if you can stay in your zone, the high frequency zone, and you've got our energetic swooshing, as we call it, we just want to see what happens. I mean, I kind of know what's going to happen, but I'm ready to gather the tribe and play. So you're going to get an email right after this session with a couple follow-up questions about this session, but also, do you want to be in the experiment or not? And I guess we'll take as many as we can. I think we will. So there's that. Because it's time to have some fun and really spread this out. So now, Patty Smith, what does it mean putting it on the parking lot flip chart sheet? Oh, you're going to park it. Is that what that means?
Yeah. Those things that you don't want to be carrying in your conscious mind or feeling, you just write it down on the parking lot sheet. It's resting there, as you said, in the basket, stick it in the parking lot. It can stay there. And if you ever need to go back, it'll be there. And if not, eventually the sheet will fall off and disappear. So
yeah,
who cares?
Yeah, perfect. Is anybody, thank you, Patty. That's fine, Barbara. Your for sale sign on it, love it. Is anybody not feeling good right now and wants to admit it? Is anybody's like, meh? And I can't really see everybody here, but just unmute yourself if you are, because nobody gets to leave today not feeling good. Like, I'm attached, okay? I'm attached to revving you up and getting you in the right lane, because ladies, like, you are the future. The solutions that we need with all of the interesting problems that we're facing, it's right here in this room. That's where it's going to come from. So let's make sure you're revved up and feeling good. Okay. All right. So let's send ourselves off, shall we? It came to mind was like, hallelujah, yahoo. That's how I want to send you off. Because really, like, hallelujah, yahoo, you are gorgeous, sister. You are brilliant, my friend. And I am blessed to like share however little slices of time I get to have with you. It's, I mean, you should see yourselves on the screen. You can on the screen. Just beautiful. Thank you for showing up for yourselves, for each other. Lean in more with this concept and share, and join us on the next excursion, because we always make stuff up to have fun with. So until next time, peace and blessings, sisters, and thank you again. It's really an honor. Ciao for now. Oh, love you too, Lynn.